if you want to influence future customers, if you want to influence your team, create a culture, if you want to influence the marketplace, the fastest, easiest, most effective way to do that is with strategically told and placed stories. And that is what I'm going to teach you how to do here today. Here's how we're going to break this thing down. You ready? First, in order to understand this secret weapon of communication, if you will, you really have to understand the psychology behind it. Why does storytelling work so well? Why is it actually a hard skill and worth your investment of time, of resources? From there, we're going to move into what a story actually is. Now, storytelling has reached somewhat of a buzzword status. It's great for me, it means job security. Okay? Not so good for all of you because we've lost the meaning of what a story actually is. So therefore, it makes it really difficult for you to use it to your advantage. I actually have a side-by-side case study for you to watch today, a before video of a brand who thought they were telling a story, and then an after video of what happened when they actually did. And then finally, I am going to leave you with some foolproof storytelling strategies so that, how many of you in here would say, I am just not a storyteller? You can raise your hands. It's okay. I'm guessing it's about half the room. That even for those of you who think you are not a storyteller, very specific strategies that you can use to enhance your communication, to have more influence, to tell more stories. Sound good? We love stories, but it's actually bigger than that, and it means bigger things for your business. A study published by the Harvard Business Review and done at Johns Hopkins University actually did a 2-year analysis of Super Bowl ads, and they coded it. They wanted to see which ads were the most successful. Now, this is a big deal. They pay like $4 million for a 30-second slot. So they measured 3 different things. Advertisements that used cute, fuzzy animals, advertisements that used celebrities, and advertisements that had a compelling narrative arc. They put these 3 against each other. Storytelling, celebrities. This is my favorite slide of the whole presentation right there. Bradley Cooper. All right. Yeah, I know. Oh, moment of silence? No? All right. And cute, fuzzy animals. And they found across the board, it didn't matter how cute your animals were or how big your celebrity was. If your Super Bowl commercial told a story, you had a winner on your hands. Do you know which commercial was the biggest last year's Super Bowl? It was Puppy Love. The one with the dog who loves the Clydesdales. Do you remember? Of course you remember it. It's because they combined a story with really cute animals. Budweiser knows what they're doing, all right? Now, what this means for you and your business is that if you can tell great stories, you are as powerful as being able to put Bradley Cooper on the front of your brochure. If any of you have Bradley Cooper's phone number, please let me know.
But in order to do that, you have to have a better understanding for what a story actually is. And in order to know what it is, let's first talk about what a story actually isn't. Okay? I know, it's kind of confusing. People mess this up. All right, a story is not a tagline, a slogan, or a mission statement. Those are not stories. They are important, but they're not actually stories. I had a company want me to come in and do a storytelling workshop, and all they wanted was a new tagline. Now that's fine, you need one of those, but that in and of itself is not going to get the oxytocin flowing, okay? Never. All right, a story is not a list of bullet points reshaped into a paragraph. Some of you do that. I know that you're like, I know what we'll do, we'll tell our company story. And you just kind of take out all the bullet points and move them all together. So it looks like, it's not the shape it takes on the page, okay? That's not actually a story. A story is not a history lesson. We were founded at this time, we moved to this office at this time, and on this day we have this many employees and serve this many people across this many states. Did that make you, you're laughing because you do that, yeah. Does that make you feel anything? I once had a client say, here's our story, and they gave me a timeline of like dates on a line. Has that ever made you feel anything? No! No, all these things are good to have, but they themselves are the actual information about the gravity. You're not filling in the gap. All right, if you're giving someone a history lesson, you still got half a page to go before you get that A paper, okay? And then lastly, and I can't stress this enough, it is not vague, high-level principle or theory. I was working with a client recently, and I'm like, so tell me a story about what you do for your clients. And he said, we are so committed to our clients. We believe in excellence. We really care about them as people. Now, how many of you ever say, we don't care about our clients at all? Like, we have no integrity and we believe in just handing people a bunch of junk. No, like nobody. We have to ground that high-level talk in story to make it mean anything. How many of you in your companies or the companies that you work for have a list of visions and values? Yeah. How many of you have ever actually been moved by reading someone's mission or values? No. Now attach some stories to those missions or values, and now you've got something.
The last reason that storytelling works so well is that stories are memorable. Now, this isn't about research. This is about my 20 years of working as a storyteller. Here's the thing about storytelling. It is a co-creative process, and there is strength in that. How many of you have ever heard the phrase, we invest more in that which we create? Like if it's our idea, we're more about it. It's why when I really want to do something or think something should be done in a particular way, I let my husband think that he came up with the idea. Husbands, this happens to you all the time. Storytelling taps into that natural desire, okay? Because when I'm telling you a story, you are creating your own. How many of you, when I was telling you the story of my physics class, imagined a high school classroom of your own? How many of you imagined a teacher? Maybe it was a physics teacher, maybe it was a different teacher. Oh yeah, you did. How many of you, when I was talking about being up the night before, thought about a time that you were up writing something the night before it was due? I know what I'm doing up here, folks, okay? It's like Inception. This is how I can put my ideas into your brain. Now, over the course of the next couple of days or weeks or months or year, you may not remember all of the facts and figures that I discussed up here on this stage, but you'll remember that physics story, you'll remember the general message. How many of you remember the fire ants from yesterday? Brilliant! Brilliant! How many of you think you'll probably remember the fire ants for the next 2 weeks? It's pretty good. I mean, this is how you are memorable. Now, why this is good for brands is because stories are naturally memorable. The strength of a brand is no longer measured by how well you can communicate who you are and what you do to your potential customers. That's not the strength of your brand anymore. The strength of your brand or any brand is measured by how well your customers can tell their network and how well their network can tell their network. It's like a game of telephone. You remember that game where you whispered it around and it came all the way back, and by the time the message got back to you, it was hilarious because it was so different. Don't leave your branding up to the game of telephone. When you tell stories, people can remember stories and they can pass them on. The stories do the work for you.
Thank you so much for having me here today, guys. It was truly my pleasure, and I certainly hope to see you again very soon. Thank you.